Yeah, I knew that was going to be the first one. We had a lot of conversations after the weekend. It was a tough one, right? And we just said, hey, how can we communicate a little bit better as a staff? And I've always wanted to keep everything this year as similar as it was, just with the uniqueness of the change with V for the players between the lines and how it ran. But I just thought at this point, Ren and I are playing the game of, hey, if this, then that, and then I'm trying to communicate from the third base box. So even just little things like tonight, I got to sit down with Sawyer Deering after the inning instead of running out to third base. It allows me to have a little bit more one-on-one time with those guys, but a lot of it was even the hitters for Chuck and I to be right there with the guys as they're going up to the box. And I love coaching third, but I think at this point for the team, it was the move and for our staff to be able to communicate at a higher level throughout the game.
I believe Craig Bell will be at third going forward once he gets back from being sick. Why Craig at third?
Well, Craig's done it in a national championship game, has done it a long time over at Florida, had a ton of success doing it. And I remember being real young in this league and watching him do it, and yeah, he can do this at a high level. And so we always talk about in this building, if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. And so I told the team yesterday after we sat down as a staff and met throughout the course of late Sunday night, we were talking into Monday. And when Craig was a little under the weather, it was like, hey, Kiff, by the way, you're going over there today. So he did a good job. I'm glad he got hit by a ball, too. Hopefully it'll slow him down a little bit. But yeah, that was where the thought process came from.
Do you feel like the biggest benefits on the pitching side of things, of being able to communicate and make those decisions?
Yeah, I just think in general, even like Reese, we were able to talk it through his approach and stuff, right? And then also, too, just we don't have a conversation or talk to the hitters. I just learned as a player, I never understood when the third base coach would bark at guys from the box the whole time. That's never been my style. So I think it just allows everything holistically to communicate better. Pitching, offense, Chuck and I to talk through some offensive options, or Ren's right there. And then honestly, it's as the course of the inning plays out, too, because sometimes, hey, if we score two, let's do this. We score three or one. So, again, just allows us to communicate a little bit better.
How's Stone progressing since he got hit in the face?
Yeah, he looks better. The update there from Woody and our training staff is he has a facial fracture and a fracture in his nose. He's in great hands with our people here. Dr. Clank has done an amazing job with him, but he's a huge part of our team and will continue to be. Now he's got to get some of that swelling down in his eye before we figure out what the next steps are. But Stone, he was here today. He was here yesterday as well. So sending good vibes to him. I know, again, we all said a prayer for him over the deal. It was a very, very scary deal, but love that kid, and he's going to bring a lot of value between now and when he's back out on the field for us again.
Is it safe to say you got to wait till the swelling goes down to kind of determine any type of timeline there is?
Yeah, that's hilarious. Just got to wait on that swelling.
How do you imagine y'all balance the catcher duties while he is out?
I think G. Wright, that was one of the things we wanted to get the box checked. I mean, we've gone, I don't want to say slow with that, but smart. I think just with the hamate bone and as he's gone about it, we don't want him to take one in the spot and all of a sudden he can't swing the bat for us. And he can really play center field too. So it'll be some combination of him and Levi on the weekends. I think Trent continues to get better and better. And as he's swinging the bat, I think it opens some things up with Stone out of the lineup. But, Levi haven't done it, and then Garrett now being back into a little bit older. We'll kind of mix and match based on, hey, what does that mean with Jay in center or Garrett? And, we'll look through those things this week once we dive into LSU a little more.
I was going to ask to that point, will that be more about which one of those guys you trust more behind the plate, or more about how it affects the rest of the lineup when whoever's back there?
Well, I think the uniqueness of the trust factors. Again, I've been in the trenches with those guys. That's a position group that I work with on a day-to-day basis, so I trust all of them to do it. And I think it's even as just having a conversation with some of the pitchers. Hey, what is your preference here, or whatever it may be, and then ultimately we have to make the decision. But they're all capable of doing it at a high level defensively, and they know that in the standard. And we talk about that in recruiting all the time. And we always talk about just catch it, keep it in front, control the running game, and everything is a bonus. And with those guys, whether it be Trent or Levi or Garrett, they're capable of swinging the bat too.
What is Hankins' status, and where was he at before he suffered the injury over the weekend?
He was just continuing to get better. He's another guy we're waiting. I know he's going to meet with some doctors, and it was just a tough deal, kind of a weird spot on the turf down there. And again, still waiting to get all the information there as it plays out a little bit, but there's a pretty good chance he's going to miss some time as well with that knee.
Where's Ariel with his shoulder right now? Is he available?
He would probably be available, and you ask him, he's always available, right? So I pulled him aside over at Vanderbilt, and there's some spots where, again, I'm sure people are saying, hey, why is Ariel not going in there as good as he is defensively? But I just told him, we have to keep the big picture in mind. I know we're in the middle of SEC, but when it was starting to affect his ability to make the routine play, that's when we had to hit pause a little bit. So he's been under eval with Woody and our staff as well, and I don't see it being any kind of long-term deal, but just he's always running hard, diving for balls and whatnot. So hopefully we'll get him back out there soon.
I think Garrett's only had 3 games where he's played catcher and hit leadoff. How comfortable are you with doing both?
Yeah, I think there's funny you mentioned the leadoff. You know, Garrett was honest with me after we went down to Georgia that he was a little uncomfortable with that, and then my challenge for him was like, it's only one time. It's the first AB of the game, and then the rest of the time it could be we're trying to get you up there as much as you can. And I think it was, I don't know where his other scores at or conversations. It was, hey, to lead off the game, we're ready to rock and roll. So just talk about some different approach stuff. I think he thought, you know, maybe he had to kind of change his persona or drive up the pitch count. And we want our guys, regardless of where they hit in the lineup, as much as we've moved it around, to be who they are, to put them in a position to have success. So I think that conversation there really helped him, and he's going to be just fine behind the dish too.
A couple more guys. How comfortable was he with that tonight?
Yeah, I think it was great. Again, gets out of the gate, hits a double down the line to start the game. He can really throw. I think people will really. I mean, he can really throw from behind the dish. Can shut down the running game. And again, I just thought it was crisp. Not a lot of drops or a guy like being in between and trying to catch a bunch of different pitchers and a bunch of different looks tonight. But you know, he'll do a good job back there. I got a ton of confidence in him.
Which collective element pleased you most tonight from a coaching perspective, and how would you carry that over to LSU series?
I think just the response from the weekend, right? I mean, that was a tough one, and talk about being a gut punch or whatnot, but that's what our guys know you sign up for. There's going to be those throughout the year, but I think if you look at holistically at the game, a double-double is something we love. So double-digit runs, double-digit hits, just getting out of the gates. But then also, too, Kiv's done a great job with those guys on defense to have clean game, no errors, as much as we're asking those guys to move from second to third to short, in and out. I thought it was pretty clean. I mean, outside of a few walks, I thought our guys really responded to the internal meetings we had yesterday and just some perspective stuff going into the rest of the year and making sure that we're controlling the narrative and how we go through this, and everything we want is right in front of us. So it was a good sign from our crew tonight.
Do you know what your starting rotation will be this weekend?
Ren and I will talk about this tomorrow. I would imagine it will change a little bit. We've talked about our challenge right now has been how do we finish games better. We're right there in a lot of these games, and you know, again, you can go matchup, you can go makeup, you can look at numbers and a lot of different things, but I do think we'll end up changing it a little bit.
Thanks, Coach.